So we've raised $1.1 billion crowdfunding on the internet. I don't go to wealthy people. I don't go to Mark Cuban and say, hey, fund my project. I've never gone to a big equity fund like a Blackstone and say, give me $1 billion. I could, but I don't. I build a big audience. I create great products and offers. And then I go to that audience and say, would you guys like to invest with me? What I do is I compare myself to the amount of money on the planet. There's $80 trillion. 80 trillion, bro, in circulation. That's US dollars. That's not counting all the other bullshit currencies. So I'm like, man, how do I get a tiny piece, like just a sniff, a whiff, a taste? Just let it visit me for a second. And the only reason we believe $1 million is a lot of money is because somebody told you that it was a lot of money, and the person that told you it was a lot of money didn't have $1 million. The other thing is you got to quit telling people you got money problems, because if you don't have any money, you don't have a money problem, because you don't have any money. My advice to everybody watching is, if you're going to have money problems, okay, don't let it be zero. And make sure it's got a bunch of zeros added to that one.
All right, you guys, welcome back. We have a very special guest today, Grant Cardone. This is Questions with a Billionaire. And Grant, we're so happy and thankful to be out here in Miami with you today.
Hey, thank you guys for thinking enough of me and coming out and introducing me to your audience. And it's hard knocks. I've had a bunch of them, most of them on my skull, 70 stitches in my head and face when I was 23.
Wow.
I don't want to do those again.
Yeah, so I guess my first question for you is, in a prior video that I've seen, you talked about how free time used to be the devil for you. Mm-hmm. And in today's world, you hear that, being busy creates opportunity. But when you take a look at the modern man today, they're overweight, they're addicted to a lot of cheap entertainment, porn, Netflix, all those things.
Yeah.
For someone who really does want to get their life together and get serious, what's your best self-improvement tip or advice for people out there?
Boredom is the greatest drug on this planet. Free time is the greatest. You got the drugs out there right now, pornography, psychiatric drugs, all the ADD medicines, I'd go to the cocaine dealer and the weed dealer, and I don't go to any of those guys, but I would go to them before I went to your fucking doctor. Your doctor is the most dangerous fucking drug dealer on planet Earth. Pfizer, Moderna, these guys they're the most lethal. Okay, I would stay off the drugs, off the porn, off the chicks. You're a young guy hustling. You leave women alone. Okay, save all that shit for later. Get rich. Every great-looking, beautiful chick in the world want to be with you if you can get rich enough. If you like chicks, okay. Everybody don't want to be with you. You become a billionaire, you fucking look better. You look good. You're attractive. People want to be around you. They want to be around your vibe. Why? Because you got this fucking vibe of success. You know how many times you have to make $1 million to become a billionaire? Dude, do the math on that shit.
Yeah.
Okay, people think, I'm going to go from $1 million to $1 billion. Yeah, you know how many times you got to bank $1 million, pay taxes, all the employees, keep a margin of it. How many times you got to make $1 million to keep $1 billion? Thousands and thousands of times. And not blow it. So, you need to eat good, you need to take care of yourself, and you need to stay out of no free time. Because free time is where drug dealers live. Free time is where depression and the devil live, okay? Like, I don't have free time. If this place was burning down right now, you ain't gonna be thinking, I'm depressed, I can't leave. If this room gets hot enough, you will fucking roll your ass out of here as fast as you can. So urgency, man, you wanna have urgency in your schedule. The only time I've ever gotten in trouble in my life, right before I got in trouble, I was bored. Every fucking single time I got in trouble in my life, every time. I got bored, and then I compromised the people I was around. When you're bored, you compromise. You bring the wrong chick home, you get an STD. You know what I'm talking about? Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? Hey man, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Not that chlamydia. It came on with you. Okay? So why? Because you got bored? Okay? You should have been home, dude. You should have been sleeping. Preparing for the next morning, getting up early, go get your workout in, get your hustle on, go to breakfast with somebody, get in a group, a mastermind with some people that won't put up with that bullshit. Because people that are playing on all the cylinders, like they're running and gunning, they don't have time for bullshit. They don't want the trouble, and they're not bored. And if you're going to be bored, dude, make sure it's on 300 feet.
In a video that you put out, it's called In 5 Steps to Becoming a Millionaire, you talked about if you plan to live on $1 million, you're not wealthy, but you're actually worried. So what would you say is the most fundamental mindset shift that people have when it comes to the way that they look at money?
How old are you?
21.
Yeah, dude, look, $1 million is not any money. $1 million is no money, okay? You went from having no money to $1 million, and now you still have no money. So I'm just telling you, one emergency, one car wreck, one cancer treatment, one political event, another. Inflation's going to steal the money. Like $1 million for you. If you had no more income, $1 million for you, divided by, let's say, how old are you going to live?
I'd like to say 80.
Okay, you're going to live 80 years. Okay, maybe.
I'd like to say 80.
Divided by what are you, 21 years old? So you got, what is that, 59 years? Okay, divided by 12. You could spend $1,400 a month on your $1 million. If there's no inflation. $1,400 a month, bro, that's not even rent. You can't even go to lunch once. You ain't strapped a condom on yet. Okay, nothing. You ain't had a bottle. You hadn't, like, nothing. You hadn't made one mistake. That's what you can spend if you never earn any more income. So, first of all, people have to understand, man, it takes a lot of money to have any freedom. A lot of money, tremendous amounts of money. And the fact that anybody watching this right now, you're like, oh my God, this guy thinks $1 million is no money. I am telling you, it is no money. Like, why do you think I'm telling you that? Because it's fucking no money. The only people think $1 million is a lot of money are people that don't have any money. So the other thing you guys need to understand is we all think green is green because somebody told us it's green. Or sweet is sweet because they didn't call it sour. If they just said sweet was sour, we'd call it sweet sour. And the only reason we believe $1 million is a lot of money is because somebody told you that it was a lot of money, and the person that told you it was a lot of money didn't have $1 million. You understand?
Yeah.
Because it's not a lot of money. Ask Cuban if it's a lot of money.
Right.
He'll be like, I can't do anything with $1 million. Nothing.
Yeah.
So now, if you broke, you're like, oh, that's all the money in the universe, right? But it's not true. It's your reference point on it. So if you believe that, by the way, if you think you're going north and you're going south, you're wrong. Even though you believe you're going north, you're still wrong. If you think $1 million is a lot of money and you get it, don't be shocked when you're like, shit, this is not a lot of money. But that's what you worked for. So last thing I'll say on this is this, okay? Look, if you don't have any money right now, like if you first of all, if you have money problems all the time, you don't have any money, you're broke, you should have no opinions about money. Your opinion should only be, I don't know shit about money because I'm doing something wrong with it. The other thing is you got to quit telling people you got money problems, because if you don't have any money, you don't have a money problem. Because you don't have any money. So you got to quit running around telling me, I got a money problem, I got a money problem. No, you don't have any money. You'll have a money problem when you have $1 million. That's the only thing you're going to get with $1 million is problems. So you get to 10 million, now you got 10 million money problems. You get to 100 million, now you got 100 million. My advice to everybody watching is, if you're going to have money problems, okay, don't let it be zero. And make sure it's got a bunch of zeros added to that one.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And then you know the famous quote, they say that the poor get poorer, the rich get richer. For someone who may be broke and
a few get wealthy.
There you go. But they're stuck in that cycle of poverty. What's your advice to someone who is trying to break that cycle? They want to get really serious about becoming financially free in today's world.
Yeah, so look, rich is not wealthy. So you got poor, you got rich, you got wealthy. And in between, you got a bunch of different variations. You got the middle class. A lot of people stop in the middle class. They go from poverty because your immigrant parents came in, they had nothing, and now you earn 70 grand a year. Oh, we're doing so good compared to my grandpa. Bro, you're doing so good compared to everybody. So what? That doesn't mean you can pay your bills, right? You get to 140,000, you're like, oh my God, I'm unbelievable. You get a job at Facebook, you're making 400 grand a year. You live in Austin downtown, you're like, I still don't have any money. So you got to quit comparing yourself to everybody else. What I do is I compare myself to the amount of money on the planet. There's $80 trillion, 80 trillion, bro, in circulation. So it's like, that's US dollars. That's not counting all the other bullshit currencies. So I'm like, man, how do I get a tiny piece, like just a sniff, a whiff, a taste? Just let it visit me for a second, right? But I need it to be enormous amounts, because there's this poverty conscious you're talking about. You're like, there's a shortage of money. No, there's not. There's so much money. There's more money than there are people. There's more money than there are telephones. There's more money than there are, like, endless particles of money. Yeah. Now, if you're just in this little freaking pocket over here just looking for the money on the floor, oh, there's no money on the floor. Okay, well, you're looking in the wrong place. You need to go look where there's money, because it's everywhere. And then the second thing is you got to attach yourself to people, because you cannot get money. There's no money that will ever come to another human being without going through another human being. You're going to hold on to how much money you got on you right now?
On me right now?
Yeah. What you got on you?
None.
Just reach in there. You got nothing?
No, I don't have any cash on me right now.
You got a credit card? You got something?
I got some credit
Let me
cards.
see your credit card.
I got you.
So you see, he's got some money on him, okay? But what's the conduit, the via between me and his credit card? Is him. Now, 2 ways to get his credit card, right? Okay, I'm not going to show you these numbers right here, but this is legit. But I had to make contact with him to get his credit card, or I got to wait for him to leave his wallet someplace and steal it. I don't want to steal. I'm not a thief, because I can only steal it one time. But if I could, create a relationship with you, the way to money, there you go. The way to money, you might see 200 already gone. so the way to money is through people.
Right.
It's not through a bank. It's not through even learning something. Other than I got to learn how to connect with people, even if I'm not comfortable with it.
What would you say is the number one thing that separates the wealthy from the rich?
Oh yeah, well the rich are just it's just another version of waiting for the end to come. The wealthy, bro, there is no end for the wealthy. Sam Walton dies. He founded Walmart's. He's got 5 kids that are still on the billionaires list. He's only been dead like 30 years. I think they're 15. I think Sally, Bob, all the kids are sitting there. This is 30 years after he's been dead. Wealth does not stop. Rich stops. When you die, you pay your estate taxes, the kids split it up, money's gone. Wealthy people, just keeps going. So like, you go poor, I started out poor, I get in the middle class, you get tempted because you get comfortable in the middle class. Air conditioning, cars, you got a place to live, shit. Get a little something on the weekend, you got a bottle of beer, you get some entertainment. It's the middle class, man, middle class. It's better off than Afghanistan. You got a little something. Then you create then you get rich. You got a big high paying job, now you're paying taxes. Shit, you and the husband, you and the wife, whatever's working, you got a couple kids, you bought your cars. You get rich now. You got $400,000 a year coming in. People think you're rich. You belong to a country club, you got an IRA now, shit. You're the shit. Right? You buy a bigger house. You don't have any freedom, dude. You die right now, whole game's off. And that's where my dad was. He died 52 years old. Bang, expires. We were doing great. Expired, whole game was over. Like in an instant, 72 hours, everything changed. Because the income stopped, okay? The decision maker, the ability to go out, hunt, kill, and bring something home, all that stopped. That energy stopped, right? The brand stopped. So what I'm doing different than my dad, okay, and the people that came before me is I'm building out a brand that will live, people are going to be talking about me 50 years from now. Then they won't be talking about me as much, but they'll be now if I can keep doing something big, yeah. My kids, there's going to be plenty for them to take if they want to. So they could go to Harvard and get a degree and, or they could just take my deal over and freaking blow it up.
Wow. And so you became a millionaire at 30 years old, but eventually you became a billionaire. Mm-hmm. What was the best financial advice that you ever received throughout your lifetime? If there's one lesson about money that a mentor or somebody taught you, what's the best financial advice you ever received?
What's the best financial advice I ever received? Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's a piece of advice I received about money. Look, money's just, it's a tool, man. And I was brought up by my mother didn't understand money, so she taught me to manage it. I learned this doing Undercover Billionaire, okay? It wasn't what somebody taught me. I was put in a situation where I was given $100. And they said, you need to use this $100 to build a business. And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, how do I do this? I'm like, well, $100 is not a way to build a business. So to go from 100 to 10, I wanted to build a $10 million business in 90 days without using my name. They dropped me off in Pueblo, Colorado. So I'm looking at it like a puzzle. I need to go from 100 to 10 million. And I'm like, what's the fastest way to get to zeros? Because when you're going from 100 to 10 million, what are you trying to add?
Zeros.
That's all you're trying to add.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the fastest way to go there is to go straight to zero. Just take the 100 and get rid of it. So rather than trying to add to it, right? rather than trying to add to it. I'm like, oh no, just go to zero. Got rid of the $100. I told Discovery, here, take the $100 back. And they're like, we don't want the $100 back. I said, take it back. I don't want it. I don't need it. So I basically just go to zero as fast as I can. And then I stay at zero the whole time. Okay. And I'm like, okay, I need people. I don't need money, because the tendency is to manage your money. So the lesson I learned was quit managing money. Okay. Managers don't make money. Do you know of a wealthy manager?
No.
No. Fund manager, Goldman Sachs, they're not managing money. What are they doing? They raise money and then they invest it, and they raise money and they invest it, and they raise money and they invest. That's how they make their money. So, like, go to zero, man. Don't have any money. Do not save money. Don't plan for retirement. Take every penny you earn from every person you meet and reinvest that money.
Wow. And another thing.
Reinvest it in something that it's your business, your marketing, your brand, your information, getting better, faster, more confident, anything that makes you faster, better. And then when something's left over, start investing in other real assets.
Obviously, you've built a massive personal brand for yourself. And for anyone out there who is aspiring to do that, to where they can leverage that in their respective industry in the business world, what would you tell them?
To build a brand?
Yes.
Build a brand. You're building one anyway. Look, I've always been a person that people either liked or didn't like, but they knew me. I don't really care what you call me as long as you call me. Like, I might not be the best player, but I'm going to be out there. I'm going to make some noise. I'm going to make some noise. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to get ridiculed for it too, but I'm going to make some noise. Yeah. And if you keep getting out there making noise, you're going to figure out, okay, you know, in the beginning, you're going to be awkward and you're going to be an idiot and you're going to be made fun of. So the only thing I can do is, like, the fucking guy shows up every day. Last thing I'll tell you, I remember I was in high school and I'd go to this place called the Hungry Giant. I was still bored. I was lost in my life. And there was this guy, I don't remember his name right now, but every Friday, this guy would get in a fight. Not every other Friday, bro. Every Friday night, this guy, about 10:30 at night, would go out in the back and fucking throw down with people. And never won. Okay? And like, shit, goddamn, man. He'd get up and he'd get beat up down. And then he'd go back in the Hungry Night and get drunk again. Next Friday, bang, same thing. Third Friday, same thing. Okay? After a while, people quit fighting that guy. They're like, hey, that guy, and he never won the fights. But what? And he ended up being the most dangerous man on those weekends. Because they're like, he's going to fight no matter what. And I learned from that. I watched that. I'm like, okay, I don't want to fight because I don't want people hitting on me. But I'm going to keep showing up. And no matter whether they say good things about me or bad things about me, whether I'm good at what I do or not good, I'm going to keep showing up until people say, fucking guy's going to keep showing up, bro. Right. Just step aside, leave him alone.
The first deal you ever closed in real estate was only 1 unit, and the second deal that you closed was 38 units.
Yeah.
What was the biggest mindset shift that enabled you to, in your second deal, close over 37 more?
Yeah, so the first deal was a single family. Second deal was a single family. The third deal was 48 units.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a single. 28 days later, I closed another single. 3 years later, I would buy 48 units. That 48 units made me a multimillionaire. I made $3.7 million net on that deal. Took the 3.7. I put $350,000 in that deal. In the third deal I did. What happened on the first two deals was there was a little bit of cash flow. They were cool, but I'm like, okay, this is not going to scale. A lot of the coaches and educators on Instagram and social media, they don't scale. They're doing good. They're making, they're doing good. They got cars, nice cars, and they got a big house, and all that looks good, but it's not scaling. Amazon scales, right? So when I bought those first two houses, I realized, they can't scale. And the way I learned it was this chick, Janet, let's say this was a house, 1117 Sheffield Street, Bel Air, Texas. She moved in. Janet moved in. She paid me. When she moved out, there was no money. And so I didn't know that until I did the deals. So I'm like, what's the way to solve that? Don't buy one unit. So my third deal, it took 3 years. I learned. I went and started spending time and energy and resources on learning real estate. Then once I knew what I was looking for, bang, I saw that deal, 48 units. I raised the money for it. I raised $350,000 to buy it. I signed a note for $1.9 million. Easiest loan I ever got in my life. I had no credit, by the way, no money. And I made $3.7 million bucks. Wow. Changed my life.
Yeah.
The first deal, even the single family, when I made $200 of cash flow a month, that changed my life. I'm like, there's other ways to make money other than just being a sales guy. But that third deal was like, okay, I just made $3.6 million or $3.7 million on one deal. If I do that 10 times, I'll make $37 million. I'll have 37 million. And I'm 20, at that time I'm 30, 31 years old. I'm thinking, shit, I'm going to be a multimillionaire one day. I'm going to be worth tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking I'm going to end up with 12,000 of these units and 20 plus businesses. I'm not thinking about the internet, social media, or you're going to come along and put me on your Hard Knocks show and make me a damn, give me some more haters.
What would you tell the people that want to get started in real estate today? What's that first step that people should take to start getting well?
You need a commitment. You need to quit making all these excuses. What you need is a commitment. If you have a commitment, you don't have money, bro. So it's not true. You're just telling, I need a credit score. No, you buy 48 units and they earn $48,000 a month in income. They make $1,000. Your loan's not going to even be based on your credit score. So like when I buy a piece of real estate, they're not lending me the money. The bank doesn't grant the money. The bank lends the LLC, the apartment complex, the 48-unit apartment complex, LLC is what gets the loan, not me. I'm not even responsible for the loan. So you guys out there like, I got to have a loan. I don't even have a credit score. I don't know my credit score. My credit score is like 5.1. With a B. That's my credit score. What's your credit score? I don't know. How about that one? That's my credit score. How about, I don't know, 12,000 units paying me $2,000 a month. That's my credit score. My credit score is I got $450,000 coming in off the internet every morning. That's my credit score. Like, I don't have a credit score. I ain't got a credit score. Wealthy people don't have credit scores. They got assets. So the first thing people have to commit to is not how they can't do it. It's like, dude, I'm committed to getting real estate. Don't worry about where the money's going to come from. If you're committed to becoming wealthy, you can't figure out how to do it first. This is what's wrong with our education system. They should not put people in 12 years of school and then 4 years of college. You should just teach people, dude, what do you want to do on this planet, okay? Like if every American, their only thing was, I'm going to create $1 billion in net worth. If every American did that, imagine what our country would do. Dude, we would be the superpower of all superpowers forever. Because every kid now wouldn't be worried about history or English. They'd be like, let me just study how to create $1 billion worth of net worth. And how do you do that? Well, you got to tie in to 8 billion people, servicing 8 billion people. This is what I tell you. Like how do I service people? Right? And then healthcare, cosmetics, the pornography industry was just created. There's no great product or service there. All they did was give people what they wanted. And it's terrible that people even have that much time to do that. Right? Or drugs, alcohol, the same thing. Stripper joints, tattoos. I mean, tattoos are, what did I see the other day? The lottery business, okay? Last year, what do you think this country spends on lottery tickets a year? Just give me any number.
Let me see.
A big number.
Yeah. Let's say in the
330 million people in America.
Yeah, I'll say 10 billion.
105 billion. That is more money than every sporting event, every music download, every live concert, and every movie produced in this country. Lottery tickets. Wow, people want to win something. Right? I want to get lucky. Well, you're not going to get lucky. You have a better chance of becoming a millionaire in America than you do having visible abs. 3 million people in America have visible abs. You're not one of them.
I am.
Okay. You're one of 3 million. But do you? Let me see them.
You want me to?
Show them, bro. It's your channel. Let me see. You have visible abs?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does, dude. That's one of 3 million. Okay. Do you know you have the people watching have 7x better chance of becoming a millionaire than having visible abs?
I believe it.
3 million Americans have visible abs. 22 million Americans are millionaires. I don't know how many billionaires there are, but when I started looking at billionaires, I'm like, okay, how many are there? Bing. Okay, if there's 10 of them, what did they do? All I'm going to do is go track what that cat did. If you want to go fishing out here, okay, you get in a boat I'm going to tell you a story about yacht life here in a second. You get in a boat, you're going out there, and you're running around. Your boat captain's going around. He's looking for fish. What's he going to look for? What's he going to look for to find fish? He's going to have his little navigation system, his little freaking fish finder in there, and all the bullshit calling into other boats. But he's going to see 6 or 8 boats over here, right? And he's going to see seagulls and shit. Dude, that's where the goddamn fish are. Go over there.
Yeah.
Just follow the damn traffic. But some arrogant captain's going to be like, no, I'm reading my school system and I got all my technology. Bro, the boats are over there. I'll tell you a story. I was in the south of France. I'm on a 208-foot, totally bragging right now, 208-foot Benetti yacht. And me and my family on there for 2 weeks. And we're finding a place to go to this new island we're going to, in Sardinia, actually. We left France, going to Sardinia, and we pull up, and the captain's bringing me this place. I'm like, bro, look, I got this thing called Marine app, the Marine app on my phone. And so I could see all the other players around me. These are all big boats, 300 foot, 250, 280, 360 foot. I'm like, bro, look, see this? This is all the boats everywhere in the world, okay? And I happen to be over here in this part of the world at the time. And so I'm tracking these boats. I'm like, that's fucking Jeff Bezos' boat, bro. That's 360 feet. It's a goddamn sailboat. There's 2 people on it. He's got a staff of 42 people to service 2 people on a 360-foot boat. That is longer than a football field. You understand? And behind that boat is a 250-foot supply boat with helicopter landing pad on both, of course, okay? So that Jeff and his new wife can fly to the little restaurant that they want to go to, okay? Now, next to him is Frank Fertitta's boat, who won Yacht of the Year. Got an award. It's 240 foot. It looks like it's 400. It's the Yacht of the Year. It was designed unbelievable. And behind him is the damn king of Saudi Arabia's boat, okay? Now, these guys are literally like, I'm looking at it like, okay, that's 300 million. Behind it's 150 million. There's 200 million. We have over $1 billion worth of boat. We have Jeff's got $180 million in net worth. Frank Fertitta's got probably, I don't know, $40-50 million. That's $250 billion.
Yeah.
And then we got the king of Saudi. So what are we talking about? I mean, we're talking about endless amounts of wealth. My captain wants to pass these guys because he's got a better place to park. Okay? He's like, Graham, man, where we're going is, man, there's no waves. I'm not a Marine guy. I'm not a sailor. I'm not a captain. I don't know anything. I'm just me. You know, I know my IQ comes from, the bayous. I got my common sense IQ is probably off the charts. I'm like, bro, why are we going any place? You just passed Jeff, Frank, and the king. Okay? He puts the anchor down. He's like, no, I got a better place. I said, there ain't no fucking way in the world, my world, your world, their world, any world, that you're going to be in a better place than what we just passed. It's impossible. You don't know anything about winds and waters and waves. I said, whatever, bro. Impossible that we're in a better place. He puts the anchor down. As soon as he puts the anchor down, all these little gnats show up because it was too still. You got to have a little bit of wind, right? I said, bro, pull the anchor up and go back to the money. It's called follow the money. And you don't have to be a sailor to know this shit. Go back to where the money is. Do you think anybody's on Jeff's boat that's going to put him in anything other than the best place? No. Impossible. He's got 28 staff on one boat, 22 on another boat. Fertitta's got 22 people. The king of Saudi probably got fucking 17 wives on that boat and another 28 staff. Right. I'm like, just common sense, man. Follow the money. You don't need to be a sailor.
My next question for you was...
Got a lot of questions. This guy's got goddamn questions just coming out of it. Where do these questions come from, by the way?
I got a lot of them.
Okay. They come from your mind? You wrote them down?
They come from the mind.
Did you do some studying on the way over here? What happened?
I've been watching you for years.
Okay,
so,
awesome. What's the first thing you saw me on?
The first thing I saw you on, I mean, it's definitely got into social media. One of the best...
YouTube? Or Instagram?
Probably Instagram, but then with the video that really changed my life, or like from you, was the 5 steps to becoming a millionaire, where you got all the people out, and you're like,
yeah, it's like a 30-minute video.
Talk about money, because you got to change the way.
Yeah.
A lot of people today, they'll have a great idea, they'll start that business, but they really struggle to scale and grow it. As someone who's scaled numerous 8- and 9-figure businesses, what's your best advice to anybody when it comes to scaling a business? What's your secret to scaling?
Dude, you got to scale. There's not an option. But I hear other people say, oh, Not everybody should scale. If you don't scale, you have nothing. You don't have a business. You're basically somebody else's bitch, probably even your own. Like, there's no such thing as being the boss, just so you guys know. The smaller the company is, the more bitch you are, really. The more controlled you are, the more, if you have 3 employees, they're going to push you around, even though you're writing the checks. If you have 30 customers, they're going to push you around because you can't lose customers. You got to scale so that you can lose customers. You have to scale your employees so that you could, you're never dependent upon an employee. If you have 3 employees, you got a problem. You got 30 employees, you still have a problem. If you got 3,000 employees, you don't have a problem.
Right.
You don't have a problem. You don't have 3,000 problems. You have a manager or two that has 3,000 problems, but you don't have them anymore. That's why you got to scale. So my first business couldn't scale. It was in a very tiny vertical, and I was the authority in the vertical. I was the king of the vertical. So it appeared on paper that I was doing good compared to how my dad did or my grandparents. I was doing phenomenal, but it was not scalable. I couldn't sell it, couldn't exit it. I had to do everything, and now we're in 10X Health. That thing's scalable to the hundreds of billions of dollars. We're in real estate. I've raised $1 billion in cash there. That business has got $5 billion worth of real estate. That could go to 10 billion, 50 billion. It could go to 100 billion. There's no limit. As much as I can imagine, as long as I can add good people, it can grow and scale there.
A big component, like you said, was bringing the right people in. What's the number one trait that you look for in
Success.
someone? Yeah.
No, not them being successful. You got to be successful. Success attracts success. When a NBA team wins, dude, they can get winners. If they got a chance of winning the ring next year, all the players, the champions, are going to want to go to that team. So you guys that are having trouble hiring people, it's number 1, because you're too small. Number 2, because you haven't done anything. Number 3, because you got an idea. Everybody's got ideas. By the way, the great ideas go to the grave first. The great ideas end up in the graveyard before all the ideas do. And then you never, even when you get somebody good, you don't keep them because you're small. No great person is going to want to hang out with 3 people. To keep great people, something needs to get big.
Right. And
so notice Tom Brady. Tom Brady, is the GOAT, right? So he leaves, what does he do? He becomes a partner in a football team. So you see what I'm saying is he left the game and got bigger, right? Most people just, there's no place to go. You got to have a place to go. So if you want great people around, number 1, you got to do great shit. 2, you got to quit doing dumb shit. Okay? Because if you're going to the strip joints on the weekends or the clubs or popping bottles, nobody does business popping bottles.
Right.
You're just not going to make any money after 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
And if you guys think partying at 2 o'clock in the morning is going to get you a deal, it'll never get you a deal. I've been doing this game 40 years. I've never got a deal after 9 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And so do something successful because people want to be around me. When I do an event that's got 34,000 people in it, they're like, oh, God damn. I can get almost any speaker in the world now because our events are so big. And we sell out every event I do. Why? Because the other ones were so successful that people now trust me, right? They trust me and be like, okay, who's he going to bring this year? Success is the way to attract great people.
And you've sold.
It's not a pay plan. It's not incentives. It's not days off. It's not a big office. Be successful, and people will want to be around you. And then when they leave, they're going to be like, oh, shit, Grant was an asshole. Grant's a hard guy. He didn't give me enough attention. I didn't make enough money. You're going to go to the next place, and nothing's going on. You're going to be like, fuck, I wish I was back over there. Because at least something was happening.
You've sold billions of dollars in revenue throughout your career.
Yeah.
How have you been able to consistently close massive deals? What is Grant Cardone's secret to sales?
80% of everything we do here is free. Now, the 20% that pay me, this year will pay me $150 million. But the 80% got $1 billion worth of advice. They just didn't pay me anything, but they came into my funnel, right? They came into okay, now I know who they are. Can I serve them when they're ready to pay something? Not everybody's ready to pay, right? So when I was a kid, man, I wouldn't pay for anything because I didn't have any money. So if I went, if you walk into a casino in Vegas, you can walk in. You don't have to have money. All you got to do is walk in. Everything's free. So in my world, I'm a big open casino. Everything's free. Now, when you get in, you're like, shit, I'd like to sit at that table with the whales. Well, then that costs something. Or I want to sit over this table with the $100 players. Or I want to go over here and play this game. Well, to do that, then you got to sit down and you got to pay. So we've raised $1.1 billion crowdfunding on the internet. I don't go to wealthy people. I don't go to Mark Cuban and say, hey, fund my project. I've never gone to a big equity fund like a Blackstone and say, give me $1 billion. I could, but I don't. I build a big audience. I create great products and offers, and then I go to that audience and say, would you guys like to invest with me? So I think we have 450,000 people in an investor that raised their hand and said, I'm interested in your investments. 13,000 of the 400,000 invested with me. Not all of them, whatever percentage that is, probably less than 2%. And what is that percentage anyway? Out of 450,000, 13,000, I don't know, it's tiny, right? 13,000 divided by 450,000. Yeah, 0.28%. All of them should have invested with me. 2.8% were smart enough to do it. 97% missed out on deals. Last year I had 154,000 people buy a product from me, not invest with me. They bought a product or service, ticket, event, something. Right. I have 16 million people online that all got the same information, by the way. So less than 0.1% bought anything from me. Still made $155 million.
And you wrote a book called The Closer's Survival Guide.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What is your best advice to anybody that may struggle with closing in today's world?
You need to change your mind about closing people. Closing people is when you service them for the first time. You guys need to understand that when you close a deal, when somebody actually buys your product, service, or offer, whatever your offer is, that's when you finally service them. Wow. I don't think about the close being, I got you. I don't think about it being that. And I think a lot of salespeople think, oh, I got you. No, I didn't get you, dude. I finally serviced you when I closed you. And by the way, that should be the first close. That should be, of the 154,000 people that bought something from me last year, 45,000 of them have bought 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things. Like 30% of our, and I want to get the other 70% to make sure that's not the first thing and the only thing they buy from me.
For people that may not know, what was the biggest turning point in your life?
Where's he come up with all this shit, man? This guy's good, man.
Thank you. We've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, awesome, man.
I guess I'll ask, for people that may not know, at one point in time in your life, you were pursuing baseball and that didn't work out.
Yeah, man, you know that story. Huh?
You kind of had, fallen into drugs and the wrong crowd.
Yeah, wrong crowd.
What was the turning point in your life that really enabled you to get your life on track and you eventually became a billionaire? 10
years of losing. That's the turning around. You guys get sick and tired of losing, then you're like, okay, I'm going to change everything. I changed all my friends, changed everywhere I went, gave up a girlfriend, gave up all the buddies, quit going to those places. You swallowed a bunch of pride, had to go back out and face people, made amends, probably 3 years. Took me 3 years to clean up all the damage I created. And then I had to get good at something. So you can't just clean up and not change. You got to clean up and then you got to start contributing back. So probably from the age of 25 till I was 28 years old, good 3.5 years, all I did every single day, without exaggeration, I showed up at work early and I stayed late. I was the first one there and the last one to leave. There's not a day. Anybody that was hanging out with me will tell you, dude, the guy every day. When we were closed on Sundays, I'd show up because I had nothing else to do. Free time was the devil. And so I was either working on myself or I was trying to help somebody else. That's all I did. Or I was sleeping. Yeah. I was either learning or helping or sleeping. And I don't talk about that a bunch, but, And today what that did was that really built a discipline. Today, if you look at my life today, if somebody was simply look at my life today, I don't do a bunch of stuff. I come to work and I help people. I come to work and I have great work ethic and I help people. And I and I try not to get bored. Because when I get bored, even today, dude, I got a call, Jamie Foxx, somebody from his place called this years ago. Hey, Jamie's having a birthday party. I was in Vegas. You in Vegas? I see you're in Vegas. You want to go to his birthday party? I said, yeah, that sounds great, man. I'm in Vegas by myself. And I said, when is it? He's like, show up at the such and such club at 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, I won't be showing up there, bro. 2:30 in the morning? No. There's nothing good happening to anybody at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Especially a guy like me. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know, I mean, you got to get sick and tired. Now, you guys don't need, you just need to manufacture sick and tired. You don't need to hit the bottom. This whole thing about I got to hit bottom, no, you don't. Most of you guys hit the bottom a long time ago, and you're just getting drugged down. The bottom can keep going down, by the way. If you just look at the ocean, like it can keep going down as deep as you want, you know, like unless you just want to hope to die, because it can go deep and then deeper and then worse and then worser. There's a lot of levels of bad. Yeah. So, you know, what I would tell you to do is trick yourself. What I do today is I trick myself to being motivated. I trick myself into being disgusted with myself. And so that's why I go look at Jeff's boat. And like, I'm like, 360 feet, what does that thing cost? What's it cost to manage it? What does it cost to keep it? How many people on board? Okay, the boat behind it, the helicopter on it. The guy's got a basketball court on a boat, bro. I'm like, dang, man, I can't even shoot. But I want to have a basketball court on the back of a boat. I mean, I'm like, what's that cost? What does it take to do that? How many people would I have to meet? And I start doing the math. I play with my phone all the time doing the math. Well, because that keeps me busy. It's not really about the money. It's about the game. I want a game of production, not a game of destruction. And so everybody can do better. I know that. I know everybody believes that. Nobody's going to disagree with that concept. You might not like me, but you're not going to disagree. Everyone can do a little better, maybe that much better. And if you can, you should. And for me, money is very, very important. Having money is like so important. And it might not be important to you to have money, but the moment the local school or hospital or kid or your parents need something, like everybody's underestimating how much money it takes to really do well. Or maybe your church, the church or something that you feel really strong about needs money. Nobody takes happy moments. You know, you don't go to Whole Foods and say, get 4 bags because your family needs to eat. And they're like, hey, we're taking happy today.
Right.
No, they're not taking happy, dude. They're taking U.S. dollars, credit cards. They want money. And so the fact that any human being has to say no because you don't have it because you didn't do it. Or you did it and then you got irresponsible with it. Like, I've never been irresponsible with money. You know, that's not been my downfall. I had a lot of downfalls, but that wasn't one. I bank it, and one of my downfalls was I didn't use it correctly. I saved it. I just stored it, stacked it over and over and over again. That's what I would tell the young guys too. Man, I wouldn't stack money at all. I would grab it, take it, either invest in yourself or in your business. But at some point you want to quit investing in you in the business. You want to invest in a third thing. You want to invest in some real asset, something outside of this thing that you're doing between you and your business. Invest in, where do you guys live? Austin, Texas. Yeah, start buying real estate. Next 18 months is going to be the greatest real estate opportunity in your lifetime, maybe for the next 50 years. You know, bank your money, dude, and go buy as much real estate as you can in Austin. It's going to be on sale. You're going to buy stuff for 40% less than what the last guy paid. It's going to be unbelievable. So anyway, that's what I tell people, man. You guys can do more than you can do. If you don't believe me, you know, go listen to your other uncle.
Yeah.
You know, he ain't done nothing.
You gotta listen to Uncle G though. But I think that that wraps up today's episode, guys, of Questions with a Billionaire. Grant, thank you so much for being with us today.
Appreciate you, man.
Really
Appreciate you guys.
the,
You guys are awesome.
Conversation. Okay. And everybody, go tapping with Grant Cardone and School of Hard Knocks X Grant. Let's go.
Thank you, man.
Cool.